Hey, Good Buddy, want to learn about big rigs? Check this out.
Have you ever wondered about all the big trucks that roll down the highway? How much do they carry? Where are they going? Why are they called semis? Well, we're going to answer these questions and show you a whole lot more about big rigs. We're going to talk to a real trucker about his rig and see what it looks like inside and out. Then we'll visit a truck stop and talk to a man who works on trucks and helps keep them on the road. So sit back and keep your eyes and ears open as we watch Max and Kenworths, Peterbilts and Freightliners, and all the other trucks that we call big rigs. Trucks come in all different shapes and sizes. And big rigs are really two different parts. The front part, where the driver sits, is called the tractor. And the tractor pulls the back section, which is called the trailer. And the trailer is where the load is carried. Most of the time, the trailer doesn't have any front wheels. Its wheels are in the back. That's why they're called semi-trailers, or semis for short. Big rigs are often called 18-wheelers. Count the wheels sometime and you'll see why. They have 10 wheels on the tractor part and 8 wheels on the trailer. When you see a big rig on the highway, you'll notice that there are two kinds of tractors. The conventional tractor has the driver sitting behind the engine. Sometimes a conventional is called a long nose because of how the front looks. The other kind of tractor is called a cab over or snub nose. With this type of tractor, the driver's position is above the engine. One advantage with a snub nose is that the driver can see a wider and bigger area in front of him. And if you need to get at the engine, the whole cab can be tilted up. One thing you'll notice right away if you look at a lot of trucks is how the owners like to customize them and add their own personal touch. Emblems, custom paint, special lights, they're just a few of the things a trucker will add to make his rig unique.
There's only 2 internationals in the United States that have chrome front bumpers, and this is one of them.
Big rigs are powered by huge diesel engines, and these are usually made by companies like Cat and Cummins. These engines must be both powerful and reliable if they're going to pull a big truck. We talked to a professional truck mechanic.
I'm the service manager here at this truck stop. When all these trucks come in and they need repairs or flat tires, I talk to the truck driver and see what their needs are, and then I write a work order out, explain exactly what's the matter with the truck or what needs to be done, and then I get the driver to sign it, and then he can either get in his cab, sometimes he goes to sleep, or sometimes he goes over for a cup of coffee, and then we take care of that driver's needs.
When you service a truck, what do you do to it?
Well, we put them on the pit over there. The driver drives over that big hole, and we stop him in the right position, and then we grease the truck all the way from the front bumper here to the back. There are many, many fittings, and the boys in the shop all know by the different makes of trucks where to look for those fittings. We drain all the oil out of the engine and change the filters and put new oil in. And we do that to the truck about every 10,000 miles.
How much gas does the truck hold?
These trucks don't hold gas. They use diesel, which is a petroleum product, not quite highly as refined as your gasoline. And most of these trucks have a maximum capacity, or the most diesel they can hold is about 190 gallons. The boys on the pump island usually put in between 100 and 150 gallons when they come in to fill it.
How far can these trucks go?
Well, these trucks, some of them get about 6 miles to the gallon of fuel, and most of them are getting down to about 4. So they don't get nearly as far as you think you're going to. Your car, your mama's car, your dad's car probably gets in the neighborhood of 20 miles to the gallon. And these trucks get between 4, and some of them, as the newer ones, are up to about 6.5 miles to the gallon.
How many trucks do you see come through here a day?
Well, just in the shop alone, in a 24-hour period, the shop is open 24 hours a day because these drivers drive all night, some of them. And some days we write as many as 45 and 50 work orders. That could be all the way from one tire repair or just a trailer washout to maybe a full serve, which is grease job and oil change, and maybe even some brakes overhaul.
How long does it take to service a truck?
When we do the complete grease job and oil change and all the inspection looking for oil leaks and everything, it takes one man approximately 1 hour to do the job very thoroughly. We look for a lot of different things when we're under there. We are trying to make it as safe for you and Mom out there on the highway with these trucks as we can possibly make it, because we could have possibly an oil leak or a worn out brake that the driver doesn't see. He's tired in the middle of the night, checks his truck over, and he might miss those things. We do a thorough job of inspecting the trucks underneath all those parts, look for worn parts, just so they don't fall apart, break down on the road, or have an accident. We try to be as safe as we can and make it as safe for you and Mom and the truck driver as we can.
If you watch big rigs going down the highway, one thing you'll see right away is that there are many different types of trailers and loads. Let's look at a few of the more common. A trailer behind a trailer is called a double. The smaller trailer in back is called the pup. Now here we see a flatbed. Flatbed semis are used to carry odd-shaped products. They have no sides, and the load is tied down with chains or cables. Flatbeds are real common because they're so versatile. A reefer semi is one used to carry produce and other perishables. If you look at the front of a reefer semi, you'll see the refrigeration unit that's used to keep the load cool. Another common sight on the highway is a semi loaded with cars. The trailer is specially designed so the cars can drive up the back and be loaded in a double deck style. When the semi pulls up to the car dealer, the ramp is lowered and the cars just drive off the back. There are almost as many trailer types as there are products we use. The next time you're on the highway, see if you can spot a gasoline semi, or a livestock hauler, or a reefer. Then look for a flatbed. A lowboy, or a car trailer. You'll see that the variety of trailers is almost endless. The men and women who drive trucks for a living are a very special breed. They have to be on the road for long hours and are often away from home for days and sometimes weeks at a time. But they love their job and the freedom that comes with driving the open road. And they wouldn't trade that lifestyle for anything. We talked with some truckers.
How long have you been driving a truck?
For about 12 years professionally.
What kind of things do you carry?
All food, paper, clothes, pesticides, just a little bit of everything. Anything you can find in the store.
Where do you go?
We run all 48 states, major cities, New York, Atlanta, Miami, and then up into parts of Canada as well, so pretty much all over the place.
Do you travel alone?
Pretty much run alone. Once in a while I take a friend with me that's on vacation or something, but most of the time I'm by myself.
How much does your truck weigh?
Well, fully loaded it's about 80,000 pounds, which is equivalent to about 40 cars, and empty it's 35,000 pounds, which would be about 17 and a half cars.
Does it go very fast?
Oh, if I want to go real fast, it'll do 70, 75, but as a professional, you stay at the speed limit and it's safer for everybody that way.
Is it hard to drive?
In some ways it's easy, in some ways it's hard. It takes a lot longer to stop. You have to swing quarters wider when you get into traffic. You have to maintain a lot safer distance. I'd have to say, yeah, overall it's a highly stressful job.
Where do you sleep?
Oh, I sleep right in this big compartment directly behind you there. I got a bed and a television set and closets and everything. That's my home, my little bachelor's apartment.
What's the funniest thing you've seen on the road?
Oh, several years ago, I was teaching a friend of mine by the name of Bill Van Ert to drive, and another driver asked him how it looked over his shoulder, which in trucker language means, you know, where are the police and how's the traffic? Well, Bill, not knowing this, looked over his shoulder out the window. He said, all I see is a mountain. And you had to bust up laughing if you were there to see it, because he was so innocent.
What does that do?
Oh, these switches, these four are for my lights. This one's for what they call a Jacob's engine brake, which helps slow you down on steep mountains. So you don't, because if you don't have one of these, or you go down a hill wrong, you can catch your brakes on fire because you're so heavy. This one's for the heated mirrors. I got heated mirrors, so in the wintertime when you get ice on the mirrors out in Wyoming and Colorado and where it's real cold, you can turn this on and it defrosts your mirrors so you can still safely see. This one here is what they call an air suspension. I have 8 airbags underneath on my axles. And by hitting this switch, if I need to hook up to a trailer, I can hit this switch and it'll lower the back frame of my truck about 4 inches. And it'll make it easier to get underneath the trailer. This here is what we call a 5th wheel slider. The part that my trailer hooks onto on my truck, I need to move it around to get my weights right, because I'm only allowed 12,000 pounds on my front axle. So if I'm a little overweight, I can move that 5th wheel and adjust my weight. And this one here, this is kind of like a 4-wheel drive button. If I hit this switch, all 8 tires on the back give me traction for in the snow or mud or that type of condition. Down here you got the buttons for your brakes. Then there's some more buttons over here, but that's just one for the engine fan for your engine. So if your motor starts running hot, you can turn your engine fan on automatically, okay?
Okay. Where do you sleep?
Well, I sleep right back here. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
Okay, well, come on. Well, as you can see, this is kind of home up here. Now, you wouldn't have a home without an alarm clock. You got to get out of bed on time, right? Then we got a black and white television for us poor folks. So if you're stuck in town and you sit around and you know, watch TV, kind of like you do at home. You got a closet over here, just like so you can hang your clothes, so you don't look like a slob like me. And you got a bunch of shelves over here for all kinds. It's kind of like a studio apartment, you know. And then what you're sitting on is the bed. You have a door on each side, so if you're in bed and something happens, you have a fire or something, you can get out, emergency exit. That about covers it back here.
Can we go for a ride?
Sure, let's go.
How long have you been driving?
Well, I've been driving for about 15 years now.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. I like it real well. I'm with my husband all the time. We don't have any children. And we've been doing this for a long, long time, a myriad of different types of things. We've hauled produce, which has a refrigerated van, bulk mail, as you see here, flatbeds, vans, but I won't haul tankers. I'm not into gasoline explosions.
Are there a lot of women who drive?
There are now. There never used to be. When I started, there was just a few here and there. But now you're starting to see a lot more man and wife teams than you ever did before.
Is it a good occupation for a woman?
It is. It's a great occupation for a woman. You have to be a little bit gypsy, but it's a great occupation.
Are there any bad sides to it?
Yes, there are. It's difficult at night to just stop anywhere, to go into a rest area, or some truck stops in some parts of the nation, they're not the best to go into. You know, Chicago, New York, even LA, some places like that.
How much time do you spend on the road a year?
A year, we probably drive, my husband and I together, about 240,000 miles a year, which equates to about 6 days on the road a week, at least.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Bellingham, Washington, and I now live in Denver, Colorado.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now let's take a look at a whole bunch of trucks and big rigs on the road and in action.